Now to another frustrating day on the roads. The supervisor strike that has halted bus service across Metro Vancouver dragged into a second day, once again leaving thousands of commuters scrambling for alternative transportation to get to work and school. CTV's Ben Milger joins us live from a transit yard in South Vancouver. Ben, has there been any progress towards a deal?
Well, in order for that to happen, mi-jung, the two sides would actually have to get together and talk face to face. That is not happening right now, which leaves them plenty of time to snipe at each other and play the blame game in the media. In the meantime, it's the traveling public that suffers. A handful of striking bus supervisors picket outside the Vancouver Transit Centre, where row upon row of buses sit idle when they should be full of rush hour commuters.
I'm attempting to find a way to get to Port Kells because you're talking a huge Uber fare, huge cab fare, and nobody picks up hitchhikers anymore.
Represented by CUPE, the 180 supervisors walked off the job early Monday morning. Earlier this year, thousands of drivers represented by Unifor agreed to a 12.5% wage increase. Those drivers won't cross the picket lines. Coast Mountain says it has offered supervisors a 13.5% wage hike, but the union wants 25%, more than double what the drivers agreed to. Still, the drivers are backing the supervisors.
We're not going to get into comparisons of whether or not what they're asking for is fair or right. The fact of the matter is Coast Mountain has not been able to reach a deal with 180 people, and they somehow think the cost of that is worth impacting thousands of workers directly employed by the system and the public.
Coast Mountain responded with a brief statement saying if CUPE accepts the same wage increases Unifor already has, there would be no more labor action. The strike would end immediately. SkyTrain remains unaffected by the job action for now, but that could change if no deal is reached soon. A Labor Relations Board hearing set for Monday will determine if the bus supervisors can expand their pickets to SkyTrain, which would stop the trains as well. The supervisors are expected to wrap up these pickets overnight. TransLink expects relatively full service to return to normal tomorrow, with things ramping up around 3:30 a.m. and back to the regular commute by about 5 a.m. However, the supervisors say they will escalate their job action if a deal is not reached soon.
So, Ben, some monthly pass holders have asked for a partial rebate for the last 2 days. What's TransLink saying about that?
Well, we did ask TransLink specifically about that, and there is a policy in place, but in order for people to be refunded on their monthly passes, the entire system must be shut down for at least 3 days. So that would include SkyTrain, SeaBus, and buses. At this point in time, it has only been buses and SeaBuses. However, depending on what the Labor Relations Board decides next week, it is possible we could see SkyTrains as part of this dispute as well, in which case potentially down the road, I mean, I'm sure commuters are not hoping that there are 3 days of disruptions across the system, but if there are, that is when TransLink is willing to look at compensation for monthly pass holders.
Yeah, nobody wants to see a total shutdown of the system. Okay, thank you, Ben.